In November 1973, Catherine and Joseph had another serious argument. Distraught, she left town, leaving her family in a state of confusion and bewilderment. The children were devastated. Michael, in particular, recalled Joyce Gilson, a friend of Catherine's at the time. He wanted to go with her. If you're leaving, so am I, he told her. I'm not going to let you go without me. Michael didn't want to find himself in the house with his brothers and sisters and father unless Catherine was present as a buffer. To Michael, she was his only link to sanity. But now, even she had become unpredictable. It was unlike her to disrupt the family, but she just couldn't take it another second. She told Michael to stay behind and assured him that she would return. He cried. Why can't Joseph go? He kept asking. He's the one who should be going. When Catherine heard through friends that the press had became aware of problems in her marriage, she became concerned. She wanted Jermaine's upcoming wedding, not her separation from Joseph, to be focused of immediate attention. Therefore, she returned home just days before the wedding, sensing in Joseph injured pride rather than contrition. She wasn't sure how long she would stay with him now, but she knew she had to stay at his side at Jermaine's wedding. She felt an obligation to her son, to her family. Jermaine's wedding to Hazel Gordy on December 15th, 1973, was an expensive, ostentatious affair. If my kid is going to get married, Barry said, she's going to marry in style. Sky's the limit. He insisted. The wedding would cost them about $250,000. A lot for the times. Barry's money would create a winter wonderland at the exclusive Beverly Hills Hotel for the festivities. Artificial snow covered pine trees, 175 white doves in white cages, and thousands of white camellias, chrysanthemums, and carnations decorated the rooms in such the wedding, reception, and luncheon took place. 100 guests were invited to the ceremony, 500 plus to the after gatherings. Ebony called it the wedding of the century. Guests were overheard comparing it to the royal wedding in London when Princess Anne and had married Captain Mark Phillips a little more than a month earlier. Abe Lastfogel, William Ford's founder, called it the most lavish merger I've ever seen. To ensure that the media will report the details correctly, Michael handed out publicity releases to the invited reporters. 16-year-old Marlon was the best man. 15-year-old Michael, along with his brothers, Jackie, 22, Tito, 20, and Randy, 11, were ushers. Michael's duties that day were not complicated. Escort the guests to their seats before the ceremony, and escort one of the bridesmaids out of the chapel after it. However, people close to the Jackson family have indicated that Michael felt preoccupied on this day. Jermaine, who had been on his Jermaine, who has been his favorite big brother, was getting married, and in his view, it was going to make a difference in the way things were run. At first, Michael had thought it wouldn't matter, and one close family friend, Teal, was married, and the Jackson Five had continued as before. His wife never had anything to do with group business or politics, but Jermaine was marrying Hazel, the boss's daughter, a lady who had strong opinions and got her own way. As the wedding day got closer and closer, Michael noticed that Jermaine was looking at things differently through Hazel's eyes. He was becoming less Michael's best friend and more Hazel's man. Michael would feel the loss keenly. He and Jermaine were so close. He felt like he was losing his best friend. And Joseph had also become disenchanted with Hazel when he realized how much influence she had on Jermaine. He felt that he could be manipulative, she could be manipulative, and therefore might interfere with group dynamics. Also, she had her dad's ear. There was no telling how things would work out, and Joseph couldn't help but be concerned. At the reception in the hotel's wine room, show business luminaries such as Smokey Robinson, Diana Ross, Lola Fanala, Diane Carroll, and Billy D. Williams mingled with other nobles such as Cora Scott King, widow of Martin Luther. Catherine forced herself to act as if nothing was wrong, even though she was so unhappy. No matter how hard she tried to conceal it, her sadness was apparent. As soon as the photographers finished taking pictures of her and Joseph, she would pull it from him. At one point, a concerned Michael asked her if she would like a glass of punch. Catherine shook her head absently as she gazed over her son's head at Joseph. I don't feel like dancing, honey, she said. Michael watched, his eyes full of warmth for her as Catherine turned away and walked into the crowd. To even the most casual observer, she seemed very alone. It wasn't long before Diana Ross became the center of attention, posing and printing for photographers as only as she can. I brought him to Mr. Gordy's attention, she said, pulling Michael into the frame. And now, look where he is today. Everybody wants to have their picture taken with this cutie, she said. It's amazing. Diana squeezed Michael tightly as if he were a trophy. A mixture of love and pride illuminated her face. And look at his little suit, she said, taking Michael's label. A flicker of annoyance crossed his face. You're awfully grateful to Miss West, aren't you, kid? A reporter asked Michael. For discovering you? Yeah, Michael said. He must have wondered how long he was going to have to live with the fabrication that Diana Ross had discovered him. Oh, isn't it sweet? Diana accused. You see, what happened was I was in Gary, Indiana. I saw this group perform, and I said to myself,